Alrighty, it's time for another daily tangle. This is one I have not practiced. Have no idea even how to pronounce this. A-S-C-L-E-P. Asclep? Asleep? I have no idea. However you pronounce it, it's really quite cool. It appears that we do some arcs, all starting from a central point. Excuse me. And then we do a second line that starts and ends at the same spot, but it gives it a little bit of an aura, but not, I don't want to say aura because that's not right, but mimics that same curve to give sort of a crescent shape. And then we do them behind, and once again follow that same shape behind. And then we put this little like seed pod thing. So they look like little dancing dandelion bits as they're blowing in the wind, or some sort of seed pod or something. They're really organic and right up my alley. So let's give this a go. I have not tried this before. I really don't know where I'm going with this or have any sort of compositional thought process. So I'm just going to go and just overlap them as they seem to want to go. It appears that you do like 4 of them, 2, 3, 4, in whatever shape they decide to come out. And just do a little curve next to them, like that. Look like a bunch of bananas. And then we do some going the other direction. So up and around, and wherever it ends up, it ends up. And then number 2, I'm going to have that one coming here. And number 3, I think just right here. And number 4 will go this way. They just seem to kind of create their own little world, depending on how you start. They all come out a little slightly different. Right. And then sort of a little seed pod head sort of a thing. And I really don't know what I want to do with them. I don't know if I want to have them just randomly dispersed or overlapping somehow, or I don't know what I want to do. This is where people get stuck in their creative process. It's not the pattern itself, because I know what pattern I'm going to do. It's the composition that gets you bogged down. So, you know, I'm just going to go for it, and it will be what it is, and we'll see what happens. I think I want at least 3 on the page. So let's start with that theory that I want at least 3 on the page. And I'm going to make this one bigger, so I have a difference in composition size. Size matters, ha ha ha. Makes a difference in scale. If your tile looks more interesting, I think, my personal opinion is that my tile looks more interesting when I change scale. So something like that, and then some going the other direction. These are all super intertwined and intertangled with each other, which is fun. But it causes you to think more about drawing behind. So, oops. Shouldn't have gone that direction. Okay, so where I'm going to stop, I'm going to finish this one and then go the other way. Okay, so, and then one going this way. That one should not have gone that direction in order to keep that drawing behind thing happening properly. So I'm going to finish that one. I'm going to finish this one. It needs to go right there. And then I'll draw this one and finish it off. And then there's this one going this way. So it doesn't seem to make any difference whether you draw your second line on the inside of the curve or the outside of the curve. It doesn't make any difference. And then sort of the head to the seed pod sort of thing. I think up here. Kind of like that. That one's on the inside, that's the outside. Draw that one on the inside. Doesn't matter. And then I'm going to really do a bit of a curve for these going this way. And they just really look like something that's blown right off of a tree and it's floating in the wind. So much fun. Easy to draw. Now this I would consider pretty beginner pattern. Easy to draw because there's no specific curve or direction that these little guys seem to need to go. You just plop them on the page however they end up. I'm going to do this one with the curves going this way to start. I'll have this one where the left hand curves are on top instead of the other way around. Doesn't make any difference. It kind of depends on your style and what feels more comfortable for you. You know. And then go the other way. So then these will go kind of this direction. Not that longer. So you just decide how long you want each one of these little arms and where these little arms are going to live. You know, are they coming way up? Are they going way down? Are they how are they blowing in the wind? Very cool. And just flowing, just kind of come out and around. Make sure you remember to pick up your pen every time you encounter an obstacle. Just pick up that pen and go across it. Oh, these are fun. I think I need one going this way. Yeah, I think I need one blowing kind of sideways. First ones I made them all the little arms kind of the same length. This time I'm going to make some shorter and some longer. Oops. Oh well. I forgot to pick up my pen. Wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. It's alright. You won't notice after you get them all in here. Try not to do that though, because that's not how the pattern goes. I think. maybe I'm not going to do 4 going that way. Maybe I'll just do 3. It's alright. Doesn't have to be 4, does it? No, it does not. I think I'm going to have some going different directions here. This one's going to have 5. Who says they have to be 4? No one says they have to be 4. Just because they were 4 in the original thing doesn't mean that they have to be 4. Perhaps this plant had some sort of abnormality, and it has an extra arm. I love these little arms. These are so much fun to draw. Now, those of you who prefer a more structured pattern, and I know there are those out there, I just don't happen to be one of them. You may not like this pattern. You may think this is just the worst, hardest thing you've ever tried to draw. And that's okay too. Doing these monotangles will help you learn that about yourself. Do you like grid patterns? Do you like these more free-form organic patterns? What tickles your fancy? You know, you will learn these things by doing these monotangle type patterns. This one's really got some life to it, or it's been stepped on or something. Got some really bent ones. This poor little thing got crushed and is no longer swoopy. It's kind of flat, but oh well. It's how it decided to live its life on my tile. You will notice that they're not even close to being all the same. They are so completely different from one another. The only thing that's really the same is the way I'm drawing them, and the fact that they have these little pod head bits. That's about all that's the same on these. Indeed. I like it. Just like that. It's full. It's fun. I think I'm going to make a border because I feel like that needs one, but I want a pattern border sort of. I want to add in this pattern that's very organic. I want to add a little element of structure by having some straight lines. And that's just my personal choice in this instance. I decided that it needed something not swirly. And to me, it didn't really make any difference what not swirly it needed. To me, it just said, I need something not so swirly. So I added these straight lines as sort of a border. They don't connect even. Doesn't make any difference. But I wanted an element of straight in amongst my swirly bits. So that looks good. And I'm just going to give it a little shade and I'll be done. This is going to be a kind of a quick one. decide where I want to sign it. Give it a tiny bit of shading. A little bit more complicated with the shading, actually, to try to make sure that you get there's so much overlap, but you don't need a lot of it, you just need a little bit. So I'm just gonna go through this as fast as I can, but there's a lot of little tiny places. Yeah, they definitely a lot of them. So your behind little frond is going to be a darker frond just because you have so much shading on it than your front frond, or whatever you're calling these, arms, petals. No, they're not really, yeah, I guess it can be petals. Okay, this one. But you definitely are going to have some darker ones and some lighter ones based on excuse me, what's behind something else. And I'm going to go around this little seed head right there because it's overlapping that one. Okay. Teeny tiny bit of shading. Oops, I forgot one. Although I have enough graphite on my blending stump that you could have done that without, but I want them to have the same value in the back. So today's my day off. Obviously don't have a whole lot of those. So I'm going to try to get a lot of videos done all in one day. I might not upload them all today, but I will get them recorded today anyway. Really only have 2 days a week that I can spend a quality number of hours making my videos. So, you know, on a 7-day, oops, I want that darker, considerably darker, because this one's already shaded. I want that one actually darker when it goes behind so that I can tell them apart, that they're all not one big blurry mess. Anyway, what I was saying is that to have a daily challenge, that's seven little drawings in a week. You know, each individually don't take up a whole lot of time to do. You know, half hour, sometimes less, sometimes more. Most of them don't take more than an hour at the most. But I've got to set up my equipment, and I've got to make sure I have all my ducks in a row, my pencils, my pens, everything that I want to use. I feel like this wants some color. I wasn't going to put color. It didn't say color to me when I was drawing it, but I don't know. It just seems to want some color. Alright, I happen to have my colored pencils next to me, so I'm feeling yellow. I'm feeling yellow as a background. And not a lot, just a little bit. Kind of like that. Nothing. And I think I'm going to use my blending pencil to just kind of blend that out so that you don't see which direction I colored. And I'll turn it and color in different directions. I don't know why it just said color me as I was standing there talking. That's really bizarre. I mean, I've had tiles talk to me before. They rarely tell me to color them. And for those who have never had that experience where your tile just talks to you, one day you will have that experience and you will then know what I'm talking about. Because every so often, a tile will just speak. And it beats the heck out of me how I hear it. You would think that it wouldn't speak and I wouldn't hear. But somehow it just kind of happens. Just a little bit of color. I feel like it needs, now that I've done that, I'm going to need a little bit of darker, what color do I want? A little darker orange right in here. Give it some depth, but not in every spot, just randomly here and there, just to give it some oomph, some pow, some cowabunga, whatever that is. Just a little bit, and not in every spot. It's kind of almost in the shadows of where you might have a shadow from where these little guys are dancing across the page. Okay, and a little, I don't know what color this is, peach. Okay, so my camera turned off on me, and I have no idea where it stopped recording. Hopefully you at least got the part where I draw the tangle. I don't know how much coloring you actually watched. So I apologize for if it all of a sudden jumps to something. It's like, how did you get to there? Well, apparently my camera and I are not getting along today. And it just decided to turn itself off. It does not seem to be a battery issue, so I'm not sure what the problem was. Meanwhile, I'm just going to continue on, and you're going to see what you see, and you're not going to see what you didn't see because it's not there, and I'm not going to go back and try to do it again. You just have to live with it. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. A little purple, a little blue. Add to my yellow and orange. Sometimes things just happen, and you just have to go with the flow. Does that need blending? I'm going to try it. A little bit of blending. I think those colors pop. I love this blending stuff. or not blending stump, blending pencil. It's a colorless blender. Well worth the money. Don't know why they don't include them in their sets. But they don't. You have to buy it separate. In case it cut off while I was discussing my colored pencils, I am using the Prismacolor Premier pencils. I saved up and splurged. They're not the cheapest pencil on the block, but it's one of those cases where you get what you pay for. Colored pencils seem to be one of those. Not that the other colored pencils are bad, these are just better. Anyway, I think I'm done. Let me name this because I have forgotten what its name is. Turn my phone back on. Asclep. That's the name of the tangle. There we go. I like it.